let's talk some hard numbers here. Always great to do that. 40,000.
40,000 is an estimate, and only one estimate, but a good estimate of the number of steel sector jobs that might be lost as a result of trade war. Here's the logic. Yes, if you put up barriers to trade coming into the U.S., maybe that helps steel workers. But what about workers for companies who buy steel? Steel becomes more expensive. These companies that build cars and motorcycles, etc., they actually can't afford to produce as many cars and motorcycles as they could before because their inputs got more expensive. They produce less. They create fewer jobs for workers. There's an estimate that 40,000 steel worker jobs might actually go away as a sort of unintended consequence of this trade war.
All right. This number is fascinating. We just had Michael Bloomberg on CBS this morning talking about this, 115.
115 has to do with climate change. When we think about climate change, we often think of the Arctic and melting glaciers and rising sea levels. The Middle East is already a place where you have extreme temperatures. And even 20 years ago, or in the year 2000, 16 days a year on average, the temperature in North Africa or the Middle East would hit 115 degrees Fahrenheit. There is an estimate put out by these climate scientists that says that by the year 2050, which isn't as far away as it sounds, hopefully it's within our lifetimes.
Hopefully it's within my lifetime.
Absolutely,
I'd like to see
hope.
that, yeah.
that it's going to be 6 times more likely to see the temperature on a given day hit 115 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Now, just think about the consequences of that for a second. We've already seen the political implications for Europe of a refugee crisis. If this kind of extreme weather pattern creates more refugee flows in the future, that's not just going to be a problem for North Africa and the Middle East. That's going to be a problem for Europe. It's going to be a problem for a lot of people around the world as climate change displaces large numbers of people.
Yeah, and for you and I, I'll still be fairly young, but for those people who are much younger around us, there's a lot of younger people here. They're going to be the ones dealing with the consequences of these rising temperatures.
Yes, and I hope to be around to watch.
I know you and I will be sitting in our wheelchairs having a hot toddy. This number, I was sort of surprised, 68.7. It really surprised me.
This is a study that says that for the first time ever, China's healthy life expectancy has surpassed the U.S. Now, we're used to seeing life expectancy. What's the average lifespan of a person born in this country today? This is healthy life expectancy. How many years can you expect to live a healthy life defined as a more or less independent life free of pain? 68.7 is the age at which a Chinese person can expect to live a healthy life. Now, a baby born today in the U.S. is still expected to live longer than a Chinese baby. But we have health problems in the U.S. that surprisingly, given all of the environmental and other issues in China, they don't have. So it's not just about the length of your life. It's about the quality of your life, your overall health. And I think this should be a wake-up call for people in the U.S. that are arguing that, that people aren't living healthy lifestyles.
No, I mean, and something that I've seen, and you've seen in your travels, I've seen in my travels, whether to Asia, Latin America, Middle East, even countries in Africa that have less of the things that we have in this country are living healthier lives. They may not necessarily be living longer, but because they're not eating some of the things and they're not as sedentary as Americans
I wrote a little piece in this about a guy named Freddie Blum who lives in South Africa who's trying to quit smoking. He's been fighting his urge to smoke for many, many years. Freddie's 114 years old. Guinness is studying this guy to see if he is the oldest living man in the world. He may be. His name is Freddie Blum, and he's having a hard time quitting smoking.
And what is he doing? What else is he doing though? There's got to be something else.
Something healthy, or maybe he's just got great genes. I don't know what it is, but
man, all right.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, Willis Sparks. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you. Of course, you can check out all of these stories and more by subscribing to the Signal newsletter. Sign up for it at GZEROmedia.com.